Hi, folks. Hi, everybody. Thank you for watching. And I'm here to do what I'm billing as a Beatles chat. And, that's, I don't know how far that I'm going to go with that, if there's enough to talk about, because I'm here by myself doing it. And, that may change as the chat goes on. I can put out a public link at some point if anybody wants to join who's, to talk about the Beatles. So I'm here again. Yeah, I'm back here again. Guess what? I was here Sunday. I'm here again today. I'm going to be stuck here again on next Sunday coming up. This Sunday coming up, however you want to word it. I'm going to be back here Sunday morning again. You bet. And a little too many of these where I'm here, but that's why I'm doing a live stream. And I saw right away BEATLE put this up here. Yes, I knew about this. Right, Ringo is announcing another tour, and I know he had to cancel some of his dates last time. Now he's coming back to New York, among other places, and I still am undecided. Everybody's going to ask me from now till June if I'm going to be going to Radio City to see Ringo, and the answer will be the same thing that I said last time. I really don't know, and I've seen Ringo a lot of times, don't get me wrong, but I really wish he would change the band up a little bit. He's had the same band now for a long time. I love Ringo. I like the band he's with, but I do like a change. And the good thing about the All-Stars was that he would change the band every tour. That used to be. And I think he's had this same band now at least for, oh boy, I don't know how long. 12 years, something like that. It's been a long time. Let's see now. So hello to everybody that's here, like Patrick. Hello, Robbie. How are you? Good evening. Hello, Mr. M. 15 years, 765 million. How ridiculous. What kind of money is that? Are you mad that the Mets signed a former Yankee? No, it's not the first time it happened. It won't be the last. I don't care. Well, what I know is when he gets on the Mets, he's going to do lousy. That's the way that it is, It's the uniform. It's the Mets curse. If you take somebody who's a Met and he's not doing really that great of a job, then he goes over to the Yankees, puts on the magical Yankees uniform. Suddenly he's a star. He's doing great. Goes the other way too. A formerly good Yankee player comes over to the Mets, and then he doesn't produce anything. So that's how I feel about that. Hello, Mike. Hello, Matchstick Man. See, this is really not a general discussion. It's supposed to be a Beatles discussion, but I expect every now and then we'll get non-Beatles related questions up here. Considering how Juan Soto is going to spend more time with the Mets than he did with the Yankees, makes it all worth it. Okay. Looking forward to Ringo's Country LP. Yep, January 10th. Get a month away now. Your daughter is joining the Navy. That's pretty amazing. That's pretty good. Taking after the services of her dad. Hello, Clown Fist. What's going on? Hello, Gregory. The U.S. box set, the Beatles box set, U.S. albums, is in the UK vinyl chart. Not bad. And I agree, that's a nice thing. I really think it did a lot better than anybody could have anticipated. Hello, James. It's really not that cold in here. I've got my coat on, but it's not cold, really. I still got my coat on, though. Don't ask me to explain. Hi, Russ. What's going on? And there he is, George, music for all four seasons. Frankie Valli, a fan extraordinaire. So on the right up here, I listened to two items, two unusual, well, kind of unusual. First one was I listened to the John Lennon Plastic Ono Band bonus disc, one of the bonus discs with different takes from the album. I don't have to tell you that it's an amazing album, and it really shows John's guttural pain and the feeling he's experiencing. Really strong. But then after that, because this is like a 2 CD ride, you know. After that, I brought up, which is something I haven't heard in a very long time, and that's the 1999 Beatles Yellow Submarine songbook with the blue cover. And that's the greatest mix. Wow, I haven't heard that in a long time, and I remember how great the mix was. Now, I'm a little mixed up with the Graveyard thing, Pumping Vinyl Graveyard. Hello to Pumping Vinyl, but I don't know what Pumping Vinyl Graveyard is. I knew there was a Pumping Vinyl, but didn't know about a graveyard. So I don't know if it's you, William, hello. If it's not, I don't know what to say. So, unless you changed it. Mike Bass, I say hello to Mike. Hi, Mike. I watched Get Back again recently, and it was like I saw it for the first time again. Man, Peter Jackson really spoiled us. Absolutely. So, as I say, I'm here solo unless anybody pops on Beatles related. I sent a couple of links out there, but I think the people are busy today, so I can do it myself. But it's supposed to be not a typical catch up with Mayo experience, but rather a Beatles discussion. And people here are always talking about the Beatles. You would think there's not much more to discuss. I threw something out there. I talked a little bit about the Yellow Submarine song track album, which is there's so many different songs on there from different years, starting with 65, going back to Rubber Soul, and also Revolver's on there, Lucy in the Sky from Sgt. Pepper. And what you really hear when you play all those songs together, first of all, George Harrison, for a change, gets a lot of time. He gets a lot of tracks on that Yellow Submarine song track, 1999 compilation. But also you get to sample really all the great different styles they did, and the instruments, how they went from Love Me Do and I Want to Hold Your Hand to stuff they're doing on. They even like Think for Yourself with fuzz bass, and then Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, and Hey Bulldog, It's All Too Much. I mean, there were a lot of different sounds on that, all in one spot. I really highly recommend that if you don't have it. Yellow Submarine song track version with the blue cover, has a blue background and a yellow submarine cartoon on it. The Beatles themselves are not featured on that one. You know which one I mean. Other people were talking about this. Other people could fill you in on this one, so I'm not sure. Just watched Let It Be remastered on Disney. They added a little bit of music just to match up the film. I'm looking forward to hearing your take on the new Dylan biopic later in the month. I really want to see that. It's called A Complete Unknown, but the problem is, they're debuting it on Christmas Day, which is outrageous. It's a holiday. I mean, I can't see it on Christmas Day, and I'm not going to be here. I'm not going to be in town, rather. I'm going to be away. So, the McCartney Legacy Volume 2. Volume 1 was excellent. I know I'm not the only one to say this, but the McCartney Legacy is the McCartney Bible. Okay, the first one is great. I got a hold of the second one, and I'm not read it yet, but I am looking forward to it, just as I like the first one. Right. Yeah, no get back Coda, exactly. Oh well. Well, there are actually two music videos for Got My Mind Set on You. One of them when George is in the den playing in the chair, and the other one is at a like a penny arcade. And I like them, you know. Yeah, Joe still needs to read the Elliot Mintz book. Yeah, that's right, I still do. Yep. Don't let it bother you too much. With people connected to the Beatles thinning out, passing away, is Beatlefest going to be worth it anymore for the guests? That's up to you to decide. Because I've said many times that I don't go for the guests anymore. I go to the Beatlefest to meet people who watch my YouTube channel and also fellow YouTubers. You know, my friends who make YouTube videos as well. We get together, we talk, we eat, we say hello. There's live bands to listen to. The days of me going to the fest for Beatles fans just because of the guests, that's long gone, you know. I bought the Live and Let Die track to get the Wings song. The only other good thing about it is the original Bond theme. You're talking about the actual James Bond movie, Live and Let Die soundtrack, you mean? Yeah. Oh, well, Marcus, you may be surprised. You never know. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, John was at Jimmy Carter's inauguration. That's true. I remember seeing photos of it. Small world, huh? How was the Christmas show? Nice. The Christmas show here last Sunday. Yeah, nice show. And as I said, if you're just joining me, I'm going to have to be here on Sunday again this Sunday morning. I'm still trying to decide how to go about making shows. I don't want to do like what I'm doing right now. I don't want to do solo mayo every single time I'm here. That's not the goal. Sometimes myself, sometimes others. That's the idea. A Complete Unknown is getting very favorable reviews. Even Dylan liked it. Really? Dylan said he liked it? Wow. If Dylan liked it, does that mean that he considers it kind of accurate? I know that supposedly I heard they changed the name of his girlfriend, Susie Rotolo. They changed her name for the movie, but that's the only thing that I heard about it. I listened to the Best Ever Lennon podcast, Elliot Mintz, on his YouTube channel. Yes, I did. I heard from Danny. In fact, we just talked today. Hello to Great Britain. It's late over there. It's after midnight by you. Yeah, I think. Well, I think it had something to do privacy reasons, but too bad. It's unfortunate. I mean, by too bad. That's unfortunate. Exactly. Exactly. Yoko has released a version of her and the Flaming Lips doing "War Is Over." I wonder what Joan Baez thinks of the new Bob Dylan movie. There you go. You should listen to that podcast, the Elliot Mintz one. Many new facts on about Lennon. I've already glossed through the Elliot Mintz book, and already I've seen some things I didn't know, heard about some things I didn't know. Hello, Michael. Good evening to you. The Beatles keep you awake. Hello, Penny Lane. What's going on? Cheers. Okay. I'm just sorry. I know we got 70 people here, but I'm checking the message. Sorry. So, any Beetle observations, Beetle questions, Beetle observations? I know you feel like you've asked them all, or we've talked about it all, but I'm just realizing this year marks 10 years that I've been watching your channel. Can't believe it. That's incredible when you think about it, right? 10 years. 10 years is nothing to sneeze at. And I'm going to be going on my 13th year. Well, actually, I did go on my 13th. I'm soon in May. I'll complete my 13th year. Hi, Lizzie. Peace. Do I have any Beatle themed Christmas decorations? Well, I got a couple of gifts over the years. One of them was a yellow submarine, little yellow submarine Christmas ornament to hang on the tree. That's one. There's another one I have. I think it's the Beatles phonograph. Like it's an ornament, you know, it's like the little ornament of the Beatles phonograph. Those are ones that I put on the tree. Nigel, it's Wednesday afternoon here in New Zealand. Happy Christmas. Hi. Thank you for saying hello. If they reboot an anthology TV series in 2025, would you buy the anthology LP reissues or do you already have the originals? Well, it's interesting. That is an interesting question because these days I have not been going crazy buying all kinds of reissues just for the hell of it. Like I didn't buy any of the US albums that came out except for Meet the Beatles on blue vinyl because, it's a special thing. But I didn't buy any other ones. And as far as this question, it depends to see what's on them. If it's just the standard albums that we had reissued, no, I have the originals. It's time to stop that. And it's been time to stop that for a while. I don't think I have the hallmark. I think I'm visualizing it in my mind, Josh, but I don't think I have it. I wonder how much White Album era footage Peter Jackson found. I would gush over that documentary. Absolutely. I would too. And I've heard that there is some that we haven't seen. Absolutely love the videos you did where you ranked the songs on every Beatles album. It's so fun hearing everyone's different opinions and perspectives. Yeah, thanks. And I'm going to have to do a lot more of that type of thing in order to keep content going. I'm going to have to start doing that. I'll rank the last track They'll take all the last songs, the last tracks of all the Beatles albums and rank them. Rank all the Beatles songs that have love in the title. These kinds of things. I hope so too. I hope that if they're going to redo the anthology project for the 30th anniversary next year, I really hope there's going to be some different stuff in there instead of what we're used to. What am I hoping that Disney has up their sleeve? Well, the one thing I'm really hoping that Disney has up their sleeve is that they decide they no longer want to carry the Beatles anymore. They let go of the reins of the Beatles and let some other company take over it. That's my main thing. But as far as, new product goes, beats me. The Ringo 1978 TV special is not officially available. You'd have to get it as a bootleg or something because it's not officially available, and it should be. It's a fun TV special. I really think it is. It's got a good cast. It's got Art Carney in it. It's got Art Carney, Carrie Fisher, Angie Dickinson, John Ritter, Vincent Price. I mean, it's a decent cast, Yeah, exactly. That's the spirit. Take all the Beatles albums, do side two first track, rank all the side twos first tracks. I love Tomorrow Never Knows. The Beatles, as far as the best closing track, could be A Day in the Life for me. But that's just off the top of my head. I'd have to really think of all the albums. But Tomorrow Never Knows is a damn fine closing track. Hello, John. What's going on there? DJ Moreno. It'll be interesting to see if Anthology comes back, how it is timed with the Man on the Run documentary. Yeah, that's the McCartney documentary, Man on the Run. Do you think an extended anthology doc would include Ringo's comments on Aunt Jessie, or is that not politically correct? It remains to be seen. How's that for a safe answer? That's a safe answer. Watching the anthology on ABC back in '95 gave me goosebumps. It was quite a treat. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, that's true. I really like My Mummy's Dead also, believe it or not. And today on the way up here, I listened to the outtakes disc that's included with the 2 CD set of Plastic Ono Band, and they had on there the slightly longer version of My Mummy's Dead. I think that's a really effective cryptic tag on. But yeah, if it with the dream is if the dream is over and had been the last thing you heard from God, that would have been quite an impact. I agree. What's on everybody's so-called minds? Don't look at me. That's a famous line that I use from a movie. The outtakes for Plastic Ono Band are my favorite of all the sets so far, especially including Cold Turkey. Yeah, Cold Turkey has a lot more guitar in there. I just heard that tonight on the ride up here. So, yeah. Yeah, John has been gone now for 44 years. Hard to believe he's been dead longer than he lived. Yeah, yeah. A lot of people say that when you think of it like that. Terrible. And of course, we can't help thinking about all of the material, potential material, music, and projects that we were denied. Sorry for the lull, folks. It's up to you guys to come up with questions and comments. Like, for example, this one here. Do you think the Beatles would have gotten back together had he not died? I don't think they would have gotten back together as a regular band a la the Rolling Stones and made records and things. I believe they might have gotten together on stage for a special occasion to do, like, for old time's sake, to do a set or something in some venue. And I always tend to think that might have been Live Aid. I don't know. I just think maybe they would have done something. You know, 4 or 5 songs, do a little set for Live Aid. That's as far as I think it would have gone, but there's no way to know for sure. Simon and Garfunkel situation? You mean with the Beatles getting back? Yeah, well they did the. I don't know. I don't think it would be as big as Simon and Garfunkel because they did in 1981. Simon and Garfunkel did an excellent concert in Central Park. I don't think it would be that big. I don't think the Beatles would have had. I can't picture the Beatles doing a big concert. It would, like, 30 songs or whatever it is. I don't see that. But again, anytime these questions come up, do you think this would have happened and blah, blah, blah? It's always hard to speculate because the only thing you're going by, the only thing you have to go by is where the minds were at the person or persons involved at the time. There was no indication that the Beatles would ever get back together or ever wanted to get back together uh, at the time of John's death, really. But people change, things change, situations change. I think there was a time where George Harrison never would want to do anything like the Beatles anthology, even. But what happened is the fact was George wound up needing money. He did, so he was okay with the anthology. Yeah, yeah, Buddy Holly. I think Buddy Holly and John Lennon, yeah, two of the biggest. Sure, sure. How hard is it to find a 45 of Happy Christmas, War is Over? Well, in my neck of the woods, it's very easy. I mean, you find that all the time. You see it all the time with the picture sleeve, without the picture sleeve. And sometimes you see it on green vinyl too, the green 45. So, from my experience where I am, I've been very spoiled, spoiled because I have a lot of places where I could find those kinds of things in the wild. You know, if the Beatles had ever gotten back together, they would have done it right with backing singers, horns, keyboards, etc. for their later tunes, especially. I think so. Hope so. According to Jim Keltner, he said that he, Jesse Ed Davis, and Klaus Voormann received the same letter from John shortly before his death. He wanted to record with them again after Double Fantasy. All of them good friends and good musicians. I'd like to think the Beatles would have gotten back together later in life to play shows and would now have a Vegas residency. Hello, John. Alelo. I'm enjoying Beatles 64 on Disney Plus. It gets better and better with every watch, Mr. Mayo. Well, I only saw it twice. The first time I was really disappointed, kind of, though I could still see that it had its merits. And, it was worth watching. The second time I liked it better. And the reason I liked it better the second time, I think, is because I wasn't expecting anything else now. I saw it once already, so I knew what it was and what it was not. So there you go. Yeah, it's pretty true. That's a pretty solid fact about the anthology with George. Imagine new Beatles music coming out at that time with that late 80s synth sound. Yeah, most of the reviews for Beatles 64 have not been too hot. Yeah, I was kind of lukewarm on it, but when I did my review, I still said, it's worth a watch, and it depends. I think it's probably most enjoyable to newbies, younger people who haven't really been overdosed on the Beatles yet. I don't know, maybe not, have never seen the Beatles' first U.S. visit documentary. If you're new to the material, I think you like it better than a lot of us that are kind of really thoroughly familiar with it, the stuff. Paul and John are always battling it out in the UK Christmas chart. That's nice. Friendly rivalry. Christmas time. I don't know the exact deal about George. I think in the book called "You Never Give Me Your Money," I think that's where I read that they did a lot on that about George, having to do anthology. Are there any more recent Paul songs you could see as a Beatles recording? Recent Paul songs? Well, the song New, that's not recent anymore. It's 2013. But New strikes me as a Beatles kind of song. Have you ever seen I, Monster, starring Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing? Yes, I love Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing together, but I, Monster is a weak offering. I think it's weak. It's a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde film, but they changed the characters' names. It's not Jekyll and Hyde. I think one of them was Dr. Marlowe and Mr. Somebody. They changed the names. They don't use Jekyll and Hyde. Your review was spot on. Thank you. The interviews weren't very good. It wasn't sequenced right. What about using In My Life? Yeah, using In My Life, having Smokey Robinson singing Yesterday. I love Smokey Robinson. You got to say that. I love Smokey Robinson. But I didn't love his version of Yesterday. And moreover, whether I loved it or not, I just didn't think it fit the film. Okay. What year did you really become a solo Beatles fan? I really briefly, I became a Beatles fan. No, it's the truth. My mother can tell you. She was there. She still loves her birthday the other day. I was 3 years old, and I fell in love with the Beatles. 3, 4, 5 years old when they were actually doing it. 1965, 66, 67, like that. But then, as I grew older, the late 60s and early 70s, I forgot about I didn't think of the Beatles anymore. I forgot about them. They were out of my life. I didn't think about them. And anyway, the short answer is I got really heavily into the Beatles in 75, I would say. 1975 is when I really rediscovered the Beatles as a 13-year-old. And the solo Beatles followed, after that. 75, 76, 77, that whole period. Yeah, George, there you go, the films, handmade films and things. George was robbed by his film partner. He needed cash by 1990. There you go. One of the things that annoys me is when people focus on the end of a Beatles reunion with the death of John. Quite frankly, I don't care about the potential reunion. We were cheated of more solo songs. Thank you, Marcus, and I agree with you too. I'm not nitpicking. I'm not nitpicking here, but when people had the reaction, a lot of people in 1980 heard John Lennon was dead. Right away, some of the fans said, "Oh, now the Beatles will never get back together again." It's a man's life we're talking about here, not the Beatles. It's a man's life and a man's solo career too. So I never longed for a Beatles reunion or anything. I just wanted John to be around making music again. Solo. Hello, Andrea. George needed money because a business manager defrauded him out of many millions of pounds. There you go. There you go. It would have been cool if Paul had recorded a version of World Without Love. Yeah. I really like that song a lot by Peter and Gordon. And there is a demo going around. It's not a complete demo. It's not the complete song, but I've heard an early 60s demo of Paul doing World Without Love. It's out there somewhere. I always thought that about the anthology and money for George, but then I heard he gave all the anthology money to Bangladesh's share. I don't know. I don't either. Gossip, da-na-na-na, gossip. Devil's Radio. Gossip, gossip. Great song from the Cloud 9 album from George. George's manager stole his money and his movie company, Handmade Film, lost a lot of money. Handmade Films, yes. If you could eliminate a Paul solo album, what would it be? The truth of the matter is, let's be honest. Well, there's a lot of things you could say. You could say things like Thrillington or something like On the Side. Or are we talking about, can I say stuff like the Liverpool Oratorio? Stuff like that? Or is that cheating? You mean out of his regular catalog? If you have to just use his regular familiar catalog, I might say the Russian album, the oldies album, or Kisses on the Bottom, maybe. And I got no problem with the album Kisses on the Bottom. I like it. I'm just saying, I'd rather have his own stuff there. Although, quite frankly, scratch that. I don't want to get rid of Kisses on the Bottom because the song My Valentine is underrated. And it's a decent song. And if we got rid of Kisses on the Bottom, we would also lose My Valentine. So I don't want to get rid of that. Choba B CCCP. Back in the USSR, the Russian album. That's my pick. Hold on. I gotta go up. Whether it be from Help or Shady, do you think going into next year we'll get a remastered film? Do I think so? No, I don't. I honestly don't. Would I hope we did? Sure. I don't understand. I know there was something that was on. They had a download or something. This Beatles 64 soundtrack. How do you have a Beatles 64 soundtrack when the documentary didn't have any real full stuff in there? Okay, my wish is the release of the 27-minute Helter Skelter. What Beatles music would you like to finally be released? Well, first of all, not Helter Skelter, 27-minute. The reason I say that is, unless I'm mistaken, the 27-minute Helter Skelter is that slow version, the very slow version. Sorry about the... Will you, won't you? I had enough of that. Hearing that for 3 minutes is enough. But I think there is also a heavy version of it. I'd like to get If there is a long, heavy version where Ringo really has to scream, I've got blisters on my fingers because of the heavy version. That I'd like to. Yeah. But there's nothing unreleased from the Beatles that I could think of that I want. I think everything. Just more outtakes. Just more outtakes. Studio outtakes, preferably whatever they can find from the early Beatles, 63 to 65. From Please Please Me, With the Beatles, A Hard Day's Night, Beatles for Sale, Help. I would like to get as many studio outtakes of different vocals and different attempts and breakdowns and things. That's what I like. I became a fan in 68 at 3 years old because of my older brother, who was 10 years older than me and bought all the records. Plus, I had the pleasure to listen to them at such an early age. Well, that happened to me with two of my mother's cousins, a pair of sisters that were my mother's cousins, two sisters that were really, really heavily into the Beatles. And I'd go over their house and always play with the records. So, yeah, I got fortunate in that regard. Up until December 8th, 1980, this Beatles fan wanted and hoped for a reunion. Well, as I say, it would have been a nice thing if there had been some kind of a reunion. But, as I say, not to repeat myself, but for those who didn't hear it, for me personally, it was just, John Lennon's dead. We lost John. They didn't lose the Beatles, Me personally, I became a Beatles fan when I, on a whim, watched the film Yellow Submarine in 2016. Well, Yellow Submarine is definitely, I can't think of the term, catalyst, a starting kit for a lot of Beatles fans. A lot of Beatles fans were introduced to the Beatles through Yellow Submarine. I was largely introduced to the Beatles through the Beatles American cartoon series. I could still see, we lived in an apartment, and I could see myself at the age of 3, 4, 5 years old, probably more like 5, 1967-ish. Watching the Beatles cartoon on Saturday mornings, I could still see the apartment that we lived in my mind. Beatles were funny, they looked different in the cartoons even, and the music was on the cartoons. They played the actual songs. You got to learn the music. You got to see the words, maybe sing along with them. That's how I started really with the Beatles. A combination of that cartoon series in the U.S. and also frequently my mother visiting her two cousins, the sisters, Carol and Marie, who went to Shea Stadium. They went to Shea Stadium. They saw the Beatles. And I used to go over there, and I used to have a ball playing the record. They let me play their records. They showed me. I remember they had the Remco doll. That's my early memories of the Beatles. I owe them a big debt. Carol and Marie. One is passed on. Marie's passed on. Carol is still alive. Correct, Mundo. Correct. Yeah, it was close. It was close. No, not Driving Rain. No, Driving Rain is no. I wouldn't have. I mean, I wouldn't have picked Driving Rain as the album to get rid of. No, believe it or not. Good evening, Eric. Hit the like button, please. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Hit the like button. Thank you. Thank you for reminding everybody, Patrick. Do you like the painting that would have been the cover of A Doll's House? I love it. It suits the White Album material. I saw it and don't remember what the damn cover is, but I know A Doll's House was one of the titles for the White Album. With all the film footage shot, Magical Mystery Tour film extended version would be nice. Yeah, I would like to see them give that a little bit more attention. Yeah, definitely. Other Beatles stuff. Here we go. Clownfist is at it again. No excuse for Paul and Ringo to not finish off some stuff together while they're both still alive. For God's sake, sheesh. That's to satisfy you, buddy. To satisfy you. How about satisfying themselves? If they feel like doing it, they will. If they don't feel like doing it, they won't. Let's be fair to them, you know. I know a lot of fans like yourself want that kind of thing. Me, 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 me. It's the same kind of people that didn't want John to get involved with Yoko. They wanted Beatle John for themselves and not to fall in love and detach from the other Beatles. But, you know. I've seen some of McCartney's paintings. I don't have much to say about him, though. Yeah, I know he did the paintings, too. I would like a good, quality official release of the cartoon show. Damn right. You know, so many people complain about, oh, it's not really the Beatles' voices and they didn't like it. No, I don't really care. You want to talk about a way to get the new generation, new children into the Beatles? Same as with me. You know, show them the Beatle cartoons. I guarantee you get a whole bunch of new generation Beatle fans who are weaned on that. No, it sounds exactly. I mean, I can understand why some people think it sounds like John saying, "I got blisters on my fingers." I can understand that. I thought when I first started out in my Beatle fandom, I thought it was too. Then I learned it was Ringo. Now that I know it's Ringo, I can hear Ringo's voice saying it. Although it does have, I can understand people thinking it's John as well. I'm glad that the four didn't destroy themselves after the breakup to the point that they died due to drug abuse or misadventure, like a lot of other major figures did. Yeah, amen to that. Paul has done some good abstract painting work. I mean, you know, I gotta say, like, you know, again, which album of Paul's would I, you know, eliminate if I had to eliminate one? I wouldn't, believe it or not, I wouldn't even eliminate Press to Play. You know, I wouldn't choose that one either. You know. Now this album, I just can't take it. You know, so you know, every time I play that, I get grief. That's an old video from 2013. I don't dislike Press to Play now as much as I did then. For a Beatles 64 Part 2, it should cover their first North American tour. A lot of film footage of them performing in news coverage. Yeah, well, the thing is, yeah, they could do a Part 2, but I mean, some people were quibbling about the title. You know, they call it Beatles 64, and they did so much else in 64 than just visit America. But it's really supposed to be America 64. That, you know, that's really what it is. It's another, the film that's out now is basically another first U.S. visit doc. Do you think if the Beatles had not made A Hard Day's Night and Help, there'd be no Monkees? You know, I never heard that asked before, but although we don't know 100%, that's not a bad theory. Because the Monkees TV show was created to be like the Beatles' zany movies, really. So they got enough self-satisfaction. They owe the fans who made them first. Fact. Bullshit. Okay, I disagree with you. And if you were here, I'd tell you that. To your face. I don't agree with you. I'm sorry. At all. They already did Now and Then. What more do you want? Now and Then, that video for Now and Then, and the Now and Then song restoration was already enough of a I love you to the fans. Okay? So, there. That's what I'm saying to that one. Would you be surprised if Sean released sometime in New York City in 2025 Ultimate Collection box set? I would be surprised, yes. But I would not be surprised if Sean one day finds a way to release it because, I don't want to say too much, but I kind of have a strong feeling, we'll say, that Sean's going to release everything at some point. I think they're putting sometime in New York City is on a back burner, which is not really a bad idea. I mean, I know a lot of fans don't like the album. I like it. Do I think it's John's greatest album? Hell no. Do I like it? Yes. Would I like to see it? Hell yes. But I don't care if I have to wait a while longer. I don't care if Sean decides that'll be the last thing they try to get out, you know? For those interested, the cartoon show has a 4-minute Mr. Moonlight with 2 organ solos. Funny. Other people don't like Mr. Moonlight except for Doc Dacus. By the way, I'm not a basher of Mr. Moonlight. I like Mr. Moonlight, the song. You know, I do like it. Do I think it's one of the Beatles' greatest cover songs? No, but I do like it. Can I tell you? Oh no, questions are coming up. I was afraid this question would come up, but hold on a minute. I'll get to it in a minute. I'll tell you which one it is. Uh, that's both. Look, I don't think I age. You can say whatever you want. As far as I'm concerned, uh, whatever, fine. It doesn't bother me. I like the way I look. The only difference is I didn't need my glasses then. I needed glasses just to read then. Now I need them all the time. I still got all my hair. And by the way, my beard was gray back in 2013 as well. I used to dye it. So let's see. That's not the question. If Sirius Radio wanted you for a segment on the Beatles channel, what topic would entice you? Anything. I'm here. Anything you want, contact me. Who do you think is singing the Oz and a Day in the Life after the line, I went into a dream? I hate to say this. This is what I was saying before about, I was afraid somebody was going to start going down this road. I always thought it was John. Now I believe it's Paul. And this is nobody's going to believe it. There's people who believe it's John. You can't talk to them any other way. And there's people who believe it's Paul, and you can't break their opinion. Because somebody did a thing where they isolated the vocal. They did like a Peter Jackson deal where they just had they had the whole thing, and it was Paul's voice. Now I like it, John, because you always think that John is the dreamy one, the surreal one, the avant-garde one. So that's why, like, when Paul sings, I went into a dream, and then you hear the Oz, you would think that would be like John, the dream weaver, the dream master. But no, I hear Paul's voice in that. Oh, I love that song. I think it's called "Walk with You." It's a great song. Walk with you. Walk with you. Damn. I don't. That's not the real Beetle Brad. So don't. That's not the real Beetle Brad. Just so you know. Nice try. Maybe it is, but I don't think it is. I don't know the order this happened, and I don't know the order this happened. I like the Dave Clark 5, by the way, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Da, 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 da. Give me a second, folks. Just double checking something. Sorry, all I'm doing is whistling. All right, I'm caught up. I'm surprised in a way. Sorry for the delay here, folks. Talk amongst yourselves or get some comments from me. We're almost at the 1 hour mark. I made it through an hour already. Well, you can get cheaper seats than that. If you don't mind nosebleeds. Well, I don't know. That's been my experience anyway. The Beach Boys Christmas album is one of my favorites. Saw them at the Circle Star in '89 at 8 years old. Wow, Mike Love actually was a nice guy. That's hard to believe. Oh yeah, that's right. You need the bells on that song, Little Saint Nick. If Little Saint Nick don't have the bells echoing it after Run Run Reindeer, forget it. No, I cannot remember the name of the two spiders that were in Paul and George's room. Is that one of those stories they told once? Somebody told once? The George or Paul? What does it sound like? I heard like something in the dark recesses of my memory about that. Hi, James. Favorite McCartney non-album single: Junior's Farm and Sally G. How do I know? I don't know if I know the answer. Do I know see, this is. I love you, Tim. I just don't know how to answer this. It's like it's easy to say no. Most people would say, we're never going to get a release. If we haven't got a release by now of the cartoons, we'll never get it." But you can't say that with any absoluteness. You know. Favorite Christmas album? Oh, the Phil Spector Christmas album, maybe. Phil Spector's Christmas album. And of course, I like Ringo's too, but I like mostly a lot of tracks. So, I like Johnny Mathis Christmas album, and even Mitch Miller's Christmas album, Mitch and the Gang. I like that. What about a Shea Stadium film release? Keep dreaming. Keep dreaming. Yeah, I have the Ventures album too. A Merry Motown Christmas. I listened to a bit of the Bob Dylan one after you talked about the Bob Dylan Christmas album, and I loved Laugh Out Loud it. Oh, you laugh out loud at it. Yeah. Doesn't help that I'm already not a huge fan of his music. Or if you hate Dylan, the Christmas album will be even funnier to you. Yeah, I don't know. The whole thing with the audio of Shea Stadium, they did a couple of songs over. They went back and re-recorded them. Yes, that's true. The Beatles were very fair-minded like that. Yes, absolutely. Oh, doing good, James. I know I haven't seen you in a while. Occasionally, in a comment here or there. Would I go see I like Led Zeppelin. Would I go see a documentary in the cinema? I'm not sure of that. Yeah, the Ray Conniff Singers Christmas album. Yeah. The Jungle Book. The cartoon, The Jungle Book from Disney. I saw it, but I don't know. You're losing me with the Beatles thing. Ronnie Spector would not sign my Phil Spector Christmas album at the fest. Really? What's up with that? See, now that I don't go for, you know, melody. When you were saying about giving back the fans something and all this stuff, that I don't understand. When the no autographs thing, I'll never understand. But that's a whole show in itself, and I'm not in the mood to go down that rabbit hole. But the fans made you and continue to make you, continue to keep you in the minds. You always owe the fans an autograph. I'm sorry, that's the way it is. Now, I'm not saying if you're busy eating at a restaurant, you can't, you should stop what you're doing, or you're in a men's room or a woman's room or something. I'm not saying that. Yeah, I thought of the Elvis Christmas album too. Yeah, that rates. That rates. She would not sign anything with Phil Spector on it. Well, I know she has her feelings about that, but and she's entitled. She's entitled to have her feelings about that, and I'm entitled to have my feelings of her not signing anything just because Phil Spector happens to be on it. I think that's silly, and that's my opinion of it. She's allowed her opinion, and I'm allowed mine. Tonight in London, Ringo has a listening party for a lookup. Jimmy Page and Clapton were there. Wow. Not everyone can be like Joan Jett. Your autograph story is really sweet. Oh, she's terrific with her fans. Or used to be. As I say, it's not the 1980s anymore, or I don't know. I mean, I haven't had the good fortune of meeting her in a while. Hello, James. Do I think it was worth releasing the Capitol albums from the Beatles box set? Not for me, personally. It's not worth anything for me, but apparently it looks like it's done really good. It looks like it's been well accepted. It looks like a lot of people are enjoying it. And people like Beatley Tone, Beatley Tone, from Beatley Tone's Beatles channel, he loved the US album. He never heard them before. And a lot of people are happy to have it. So, although it doesn't mean anything to me, I think it was worth a good release. A lot of people liked it. Rich Little, who I never loved, by the way, did a fun version of A Christmas Carol with him playing multiple characters, etc., etc., etc. I don't know. I mean, to be honest, I mean, I'm always eager whenever there's a new solo Beatles related album out or something. When I say I'm dying for it, I can't wait. No, but I'm kind of looking forward to it. I hear it's most by somebody I know who's heard the whole album already said it's very good. So, yeah, yeah. I knew right away this was bogus anyway. But yeah, I think you're right. To tell you the truth, I want to tell you something. I don't really like Beatles music. I never liked it. Don't tell anybody, but this is all a ruse. It's all a ruse. You know what I mean? I just pretend that I like the Beatles music. Um, the Runaways movie from 2000, I think it's 2005, somewhere around there. Maybe it's 2011, actually. I don't know. It's not a horrible movie, but it's not particularly good. You don't see Gen Z buying their albums. You must not look pretty hard. For Go watch Skylar Moody on TikTok, and you'll see about Gen Z buying the albums. But anyway, I don't want to say too much against Gen Z. And here's somebody here. I'm Gen Z, and I've bought plenty. There you go. There are exceptions. Here's the thing. There's always going to be enough fans, every new generation, to keep the Beatles going worldwide. I mean, you may go into your local school or your local college or whatever, and not see a hell of a lot of Beatle fans in your circle. But worldwide, there are always going to be enough of them. Yeah, I actually think it ages very well. One thing about the Beatles' music is that it lasts from generation to generation to generation. Well, even if this was true, you can't go by this. Yeah. Do you think that baby boomers are buying things like the Beatles' one hits album? When the Beatles' one hits album came out, do you think the people that are ready, you might not even know, that's probably a long time before you were born, yeah, in 2000. Do you think that the one album, the number one hits album, you think that was bought by older boomers who already had all these songs already? No. I'll have you know also, in the decade of the 2000s, from 2000 to 2010, the Beatles' one album became the biggest selling album that entire decade. And the Beatles broke up 1970. Yeah, I know. I'm just having fun with this person. That's all. I know. I know it's not a real name. I know who it is, Patrick. As far as I know who Jenna Jameson really is, but I'm just saying, everybody has a different name, you know. Oh yeah, the uh, the Beatles always gave tribute to African American music. They always thanked them and always honored them. They're always very good. Yeah, that was another thing. There's so many things. Always, these things. There was like Anthology got a lot of new fans. The Beatles rock band got a lot of new fans. The Beatles one album got a lot of new fans. There's always something new. Hello, what's a good word? Hello, Laura. As Band on the Run, One Hand Clapping, Mind Game Set, Living Material World, Beatles 64. Woo. Which is your favorite release of all those? Wow. Well, I got to go with Mind Games out of all of them, being a John guy, out of all of them. Back to Chicago. Hello, Chicago. The Beatles, like Mozart, Shakespeare, and other people, will still be sung in 500 years, of course. I mean, this is 2024, and there's still unparalleled interest in the Beatles. And nobody thought in 1964 that they'd last even to 1970, popularity. But they broke up in 1970, but and look at here we are decades and decades later. It's amazing, really. Would I rather interview Sean or Julian? Wow, that's a tough one. I think Sean because I'd have questions about the new stuff going on and him like handling his father's legacy because he's like, has a lot to do with. He's very hands on. with the new recordings and the remixes and stuff like that. Some of the songs in Rock Band were unique. Yeah, they were. Yeah, I prefer Walls and Bridges to Mind Games also, but hopefully they have that in the minds for the next one. Get it in mind. I made it funny. The 64 Capital Mono releases sound great. Yeah, I've heard about this. But no, I haven't listened to it. I've been very disappointed by a lot of things I've heard, finding out that John nicked a lot of stuff. Yeah, definitely. Sure. Sure, absolutely. Sorry for the quiet. It's up to you folks. If I had any news or something you didn't know about, I'd tell you. Oh, so you're looking forward to you're going to be getting the Meet the Beatles blue vinyl Christmas? No, I'm afraid I'm not much into Joni Mitchell, but I know a lot of people are, even people I know. Wings Over America was released this day, 1976. About anti-Beatles people, there are always those who resent them for their great popularity, as if they took the limelight away from others. But hey, rock bands just have to keep doing their thing. Yeah, exactly. Hello, Rich. Thanks for showing up. Yeah, I definitely think that the Yoko inspired John, of course, to write some of his best material. Yeah. No, Abbey Road is their last album. I mean, I know Let It Be was released last out of sequence, but no, the last project was Abbey Road. Some fans get really upset about that. Really upset about that. Got my copy of Daytime Revolution today. I saw that in a movie theater and it was very good. I did a video on it. Anybody want to see my review? It's a Daytime Revolution is a documentary about John and Yoko when they hosted the Mike Douglas show for a whole week in February of 1972. They were the co-hosts on it, and they had all kinds of guests and experiences and music. And I want to get my copy of that too on a Blu-ray. Is it on Amazon? I have to get it. Wow, 29.25. I mean, you mean I have to wait 900 years to get it? I know it was a typo. I'm just playing with you. Yeah, yeah, I know. I heard too that it's supposed to come out. Yeah, in next year. There you go. There you go. Well, yeah. Well, the world's made up of all kinds of people. We can't all like the same things in life, but most of the people on the planet do like the Beatles to some degree. even in a small degree, you know. Friend of mine said she didn't like the Beatles. Another friend of hers posted a video of her birthday party, and what were they singing? The Beatles song "Birthday," and she was singing it too. They probably didn't even know. If you don't, if anybody that claims they don't like the Beatles, either A, they used to like the Beatles a lot, but for some reason they just got overdosed on the Beatles and they don't want to hear them anymore. But they always liked them, but they just had enough. Or B, they're rebels. They're people that think they're going to be different. You know, I'm going to be different. I'm going to go against the grain. It's cool to not like the Beatles. You know, everybody loves the Beatles. Well, I'm going to be cool. I'm going to be the guy that doesn't like them. I'm going to be the rebel. You know, there's that. And then the third one are people who only heard a few. Maybe you're a person, all you ever hear is, you heard "I Want to Hold Your Hand." You heard maybe you heard "Hey Jude," and you maybe weren't crazy about "Hey Jude." You Let It Be. Maybe you heard like 3 songs. You say, I don't like the Beatles. If you heard every one of their albums, you'd be a fan. So that's it in my book. Sometimes it feels like, well, actually, it does feel like that sometime. I agree, but you know, they really have been putting out a lot of stuff too. You know, so like, man, the Beatles are yesterday's news. Nicki Minaj is so much better. Yeah, and for you know how many Nicki Minaj's I've heard about in the last 50 years, 50 plus years. Whoever the latest Nicki Minaj is. Uh, did they ever have Hey Bulldog in a commercial? Somebody could tell us that. Why do I think I heard something about that? Um, I mean, they had "All You Need Is Love" in a commercial and other stuff like that. She's a rebel. She falls into the rebel category. She's a rebel. She was being a contrarian because I like them so much and talk about them so much. She doesn't know I seen the video. Yeah, Menudo was another one, another big Beatles, you know. Nicki who? Exactly. Minaj, Nicki Minaj, the legendary Nicki Minaj. I don't know. I think you're right about that. I really do. Nicki was a stripper before. She does auto tune now. Some people think Taylor Swift is as popular as the Beatles. Never happened. You know what's funny? Uh, in the shopping mall that I go to, I'm pretty soon I'm going to be buying a new calendar. I buy new calendars every year. I'm still a calendar man. I like to hang up my calendars, write on them the dates, what I have to do, and everything. Well, anyway, they had like a whole, I don't know what you call it. Like they had calendars about everybody, but they had a whole section just Taylor Swift calendars. Not one Taylor Swift calendar, not just like Taylor Swift 2025, you know, next year, Taylor Swift, like 10 different Taylor Swift calendars. But they still have Beatle calendars too. The question is, will they have Taylor Swift calendars 60 years after she's done? That's the question. People don't realize that, you know. You know, anybody can be big and famous in their own day. And I know Taylor Swift didn't just start out. She's been around for quite a while now. She's still pretty big. I get it. But I want to see what she's going to be 60 years from now. I won't see it. I'll be here, but some of you will be here. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Could be. Sure, sure. Oh man, that's almost 90 minutes. Wow. Time goes so fast when I'm doing these things, you know? They really time flies by. Okay, folks, I think I'm going to shut it down in another 5 minutes or so. So, let's see how it goes in the next 5 minutes. You know, I remember you say Taylor Swift has no competition, so it's easy now. Do you know there were people, anti-Beatles people, that said there was no competition when the Beatles were around? I heard people that say the Beatles, when the Beatles were here, there was no competition. Problem I have with Taylor Swift is that she didn't acknowledge Toby Keith when he died, even though he had a lot to do with her being discovered to a wider audience. Do you think if John was alive today, the entertainment world would be making him apologize for writing "Woman is the of the world"? And would he? There's no way of knowing that for sure. Either one. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. I'm not copping out. I really don't know. I mean, I'm thinking that maybe they'd be bringing it up. You know, it would be brought up, and he would explain what he meant by it. It wasn't what they think he meant. Same thing he kind of did back then. There's the same thing he did in '72. Okay, James, thanks for saying hello there. Thank you, thank you, thank you. She's doing good, James. Thank you very much. I think there was a lot of competition during the Beatles' time, in a way. Although in a way there was no competition because the Beatles owned it. You know what I mean? There was competition, lots of it, but by the same token, the Beatles were always the number one, so they kind of like owned it. There was no competition in that regard. All right, folks, I'm going to call this an end now. I would have went another half an. If I had a get, if I had like a Beatle guest up here, I might have went a little longer. But unfortunately, a couple of people I asked weren't able to make it. So there's always next time. But I had a good time, and we kept the Beatles talk going. So thank you all for being here. And I'm going to just look. I want to look into the comments before I go. All right, keep watching on my channel. I'll tell you like what's happening insofar as live streams go. You know, if I'm going to be doing live streams by myself, if I'm going to have live streams with other people, Beatles talks, whatever, I'll let you know. All right. So I'll talk to you all very soon. And thank you all for being supportive and being here. Cheers.